Well, hello, everyone. So in this presentation, I'd like to give a very brief overview of what is the JEOP early warning system. How do you receive reports? How do you look at the data? Most importantly, is reminding us why this is important to our project, especially as we look at markets and crisis. So I've also included here below where you can find some more updates, including this presentation. So the JEOP early warning system has been around for at least 10 years, if not longer. So the JEOP field staff gather data on around 26 indicators. That falls under rainfall, crops, livestock, labor, nutrition, education, SHOAT components, sheep and goat. Data is collected every week and is sent to the JEOP database by SMS text. And that's been great because even during the states of emergency, we still have been getting reliable data. Let me put it this way, we've been getting data on a regular basis. The data is collected from 66 raiders, right up from the northern point of the Tigray, all the way out east to the Harages. And for us, it takes place in many, I believe, majority of our raiders that we're working with under LRO. So you can get the data two ways. One is the monthly published reports. So what I mean by that is it's sent to you by email. You can always read the summary. I suggest reading the summary. It's going to give you a summary for the country and the 66 raiders. You can click on it and you can get even more details. We'll talk about that. But they also use MailChimp. And MailChimp is interesting because it allows people to subscribe or unsubscribe, but also allow the JEOP team to understand if people were actually reading the reports. And that's always great to know. Again, this presentation is not to talk about the JEOP early warning system in isolation of the livelihoods and resilience in Oromia, but instead intended for us to all understand why we may want to use it in understanding our markets. So here's an excerpt of one of the things we had here. This is just comes from every month. It could be as much as almost 12 pages, a very good and detailed report. And in this case here, you can see the crop and market prices. So really quite interesting here to see how in this slide here, you can see the bars are all the average, and you can look at last year's and you can look at this year. So look at that maize price this year. Wow, it's really climbing. You can see down below the same with SHOAT, really on the rise there. Good questions for us to ask why. If you look at this, it looks like the New York Stock Exchange. It kind of is. It actually tells you what is the price. Are the prices going up? Are they going down? By what percentage are they going up and down? It allows us to really understand the markets a lot better. Even has basic information on what is the livestock looking like? What is the pasture land looking like? With livestock, what is the quality of those livestock looking like? What is their body conditions? But you can also go directly online to the JEOP online database. There you can click this, the JEOP early warning system, CRS. This is the username, this is a password. You can go to those. You can run your own reports. So for instance, you can run it by the organization or location or even type of indicators. So I have a couple examples here. One is look at sheep and goat prices. Isn't that interesting? First of all, on the left-hand side, I've done a filter. You filter down by MCS, Oromia, and then I went right to where it is and looked at Dodota. So in March 2020, you can see the prices were definitely climbing. And that's kind of interesting in general. But if you take a look at last year, you can see June, July really peaks. I believe that is when Eid happened. So that's a really important time where a lot of live animals are purchased. Not as high, interesting enough, if you actually take a look at other seasons, say September, where we thought there would be more sales because of mezcal, or even January, we thought more on Christmas. So it really has us ask ourselves, where do we want to work with the farmers and getting the right things out? I also like this one because you can see it has price wages. You can do crop price, staple price, SHOAT price, labor, terms of trades, and price changes. And then on the top half, you can see crop information, food security, weather, and livestock. Those are all available to you. Next one I thought was really interesting because if you know how to read the data, you could probably just guess what probably happened here. There's always a possibility of data entry errors, but this is really interesting. Look at this. In general, prices do go down in March. It's actually one of the lowest times, but look how it dropped. In fact, if you think of that, that possibly could be because COVID-19 hit. You can think about the number of people who probably lost their jobs in the months of March and April as the restrictions started kicking in. It's going to be interesting to find out what it looks like in June here, but at least it gives us a good enough sense of what it's looking like. So really, you can find some interesting stories. And again, if you look on the left-hand side, I've customized this, and we're actually just looking at the data. There's some beautiful, beautiful ways that data has been shown. So what I'm going to show you next is not just for MCS, but this is across all 68, 66 where it is. But I like it because it really shows the beauty of how data can look like. So here, this is livestock diseases. So you can get a sense of, wow, internal, external parasites really high across those areas. Blackleg is moderate. On the other hand, PPR is a little bit less. You can go and find more about each one of these diseases and where they're affecting and everything like that. So why is this relevant to us? Well, first of all, you have to remember data is being collected every week, that is, from Shala, RC Nageli, Heaven RC, Dodota, Siri, and Serraro. That's huge. Serraro, by the way, is covered by World Vision. That's where they're getting that data. The data is consistently collected. So some people may say, well, I don't understand what you mean. It's above average, it's below average. You have to remember this covers a huge geographical area with lots of different weather patterns. So it's not always perfect, but you're looking for trends. And that is being measured fairly regularly. And that is done fairly consistently. It's real time. The moment somebody clicks that on their little phone for SMS, it goes directly, right there, bam, right to the database. So it gives you real time. And the other one is, this is something that USAID does look at. It informs a lot of their decisions. So if we want to look at what data looks like and make decisions around our data, it's nice to have a common understanding as we have with the donor. Again, thank you very much. And this was intended only to provide a general overview. I would strongly encourage you, just go and play. Get onto that web page, put in that password, put in that username, and just play. Once you do it a little, you're going to be able to understand its limitations online, but there's a lot of things we can do both online, but also offline, but we just want to play with it with our JEOP staff. And then we can go back to the JEOP staff and ask them for a little bit more details. Again, thank you very much, and glad you could join us.